I'll create a new class, and I'm gonna call this one second thread. It will add an interface called runnable. So runnable interface will going to force my thread class, my second thread class, to write its own implementation of run. So make sure you check the method inherited abstract methods. We're not going to be writing any main in this class. We're going to write another Java class for the main, and just simply hit finish. So here you will notice it automatically codes a body of a run method for you because there is an empty run method in runnable interface. So now let's create our thread object inside this user-defined thread class. It will have its own constructor, and we're going to use this constructor to set the name of the thread. So now, what is the purpose of line number 10? To start a thread and give it over to the thread scheduler. The thread scheduler is supposed to now run the logic that is inside the run method, which we're going to be writing next. A question. Who is the current thread on line 15? Is it main, or is it somebody else? Somebody else. Who is current thread? Whoever the start method gets called on. That is now your current thread. So now, what we're doing here is inside the try block, try catch block, we will simply run a for loop which will run for 10 times. And all this loop we're going to do is display the name of the thread, and then we're going to make the thread sleep for a second. That's all we're going to do. Just display the name of the thread 10 times. And we're going to, between each display, it will make the thread sleep for a second. Now, we will, after this, we will going to write our main class, which will use the second thread class. So make sure you save the changes with this one and you start a new class. We're going to call this one Run MultiThread App because we'll be able to create multiple instances of second thread type. Public static void main. So I'll create an instance of second thread, th1 equals to new second thread. Now I'm going to pass it a parameter, okay, thread 1. Now run it. And you will notice that thread 1 keeps displaying himself after every second. And there's only one thread. Now let's go back to second thread and let's add one additional line after catch. System.out.println, the name of the thread with a message thread ending. Now rerun the program. And you will notice that it displays thread 1 10 times. And once it's displaying thread 1 10 times, it tells you that thread 1 is ended. Okay. Now, here in the same example, copy and paste this and change this to th2 and change the name to a thread 2. So now you have multiple threads. What does that mean? They must run simultaneously, provided you have multiple processors. So now when you run it, you will notice that they start running in different sequence. Sometimes 1, 2, sometimes 2, 2, 1, sometimes 1, 1, 2, but they both end. Notice, in my case, thread 2 started after thread 1 but ended before. So for me, he started skipping sequence right at the beginning. Now, let's add another thread to this process. Thread 3. And now when you run this program, now you have 3 threads running at the same time. For me, it ended 3, 2, 1. But if I go up to the beginning, notice, thread 1 actually went in the run state before even thread 3 started. Thread 1 was already running, but it was the last one to exit. Now there's some very cool thing, like funny stuff that we can do with it. Okay, so let me comment this last line out. Okay. Loves me not application, right? You run it, though, you let the thread decide. Oh, loves me not.